Unfortunately, the body count is rising in Syria. As the Turkish strikes continue, disturbing images are emerging of Kurdish children fleeing, and you know who tried to make the case for why he pulled out U.S. troops out of the region. Take a look.
Now, the Kurds are fighting for their land, just so you understand. They're fighting for their land. And as somebody wrote in a very, very powerful article today, they didn't help us in the Second World War. They didn't help us with Normandy, as an example. They mentioned names of different battles. They were there, but they're there to help us with their land, and that's a different thing.
I wish you would do some homework, man. I really do. I wish you would just take a second before you say stuff like this, because it's not true. The Kurds did fight with allies in World War II. 10 companies of Kurdish fighters served under British officers as part of the Iraq levies. Iraq levies was the first Iraqi military force established by the British.
You know who didn't fight in World War II?
I do know who
His
didn't
entire
fight.
family.
Yeah.
The Trumps have never fought in any war. As a matter of fact, Trump's grandfather, Frederick, was deported from his native Germany for failing to complete his mandatory military service. Draft evasion runs in the family.
I don't think you have to serve in the military, though, to understand the seriousness of this situation, right? And I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of our soldiers that are on the ground there, that are still there. And I was talking to a military officer, and he wrote me, he said, imagine waking up, having a dozen pissed-off Kurdish militiamen staring you in the face, holding up their phones, with Twitter open, asking, are you leaving us? What is going on? Because no one got the heads up. Even the Pentagon was alarmed that this was happening.
It's past that. Read Jennifer Griffin on Fox News' Twitter account of her conversation that she had with a Special Forces officer. He said, I have never felt more ashamed. This is the first time I've been ashamed of my country. These Special Forces officers are standing and protecting terrorists, ISIS terrorists in jail, and now they're going to be left without American soldiers fighting alongside them. Erdogan, right this moment, is referring to the Kurds as terrorists. And I just don't understand why we're living in a country right now, and I'm very happy that there's outrage on both sides. I'm happy that there's finally seems to be something that Republicans and Democrats are coming forward. But this idea, and you're having Rand Paul on tomorrow, and I'm not going to be here tomorrow for personal reasons, but I want you to ask him, there is blood on anyone's hands, starting with his and President Trump's, who is letting this happen, because these people are being slaughtered after standing with our troops in the Middle East for an extremely long time, fighting against terror cells, and we are not entering into a foreign war. They are proxies that are supporting us. The whole point of having proxies is so we don't get into another war. And I'm sorry, have we not learned the lessons of 9/11? And I don't understand it. And I'm sorry, I'm upset, but this has been going on for a week.
I think
these people are being slaughtered. They're being killed and slaughtered.
Well, I think so many people are saying, you know, I don't understand it. I don't understand why he made this decision, and I don't understand it either. When you think about it, I hope that he didn't make this decision to change the subject, because what we have all been talking about is impeachment, right? And I wonder if he did this to change the subject. But if he did it to change the subject, what this did was more people are now in favor of impeachment because of this. 51% of Americans want Trump impeached and removed from office. And a Washington Post, isn't that incredible?
Let me just finish this. I'm sorry,
a Washington Post poll just found that overall 25% of Republicans, 25% of Republicans and Republican-leaning independents now also support.
Let Joy finish, please.
But it will help with this conversation.
I understand that. Let Joy say what she needs to say.
All right. I'll let you talk after I finish this.
Yeah.
Because I have one point to make. I don't really cut these Republican leaders any slack in this, because they're going after him for this. You know, as what's her name? The famous black poet. What's her name?
Maya
Angelou said, when someone tells you who they are, believe them.
The first time.
You know, Lindsey Graham, who is now attacking him about this and saying how horrible it is, this is what he said. I don't care if they have to stay in these facilities for 400 days, referring to these children at the border. These children were locked up, taken away from their parents. They will be scarred for the rest of their life with separation anxiety. I can't even begin to tell you. And these same people, Lindsey Graham, Moscow Mitch, all the rest of them, Mark Meadows, Devin Nunes, all these despicable people backed this man when he separated children. That is who he is. And what makes you think that he cares about innocent Kurds being slaughtered, when he doesn't care about innocent children being taken away from their parents.
those
This is
Kurds-
the same man. So don't tell me that the Republican Party is now standing up to him. But if they should have done it
because-
before, we wouldn't be in this position.
Because there are 12,000 ISIS prisoners that the Kurds were guarding. And now you are letting 12,000 ISIS prisoners out into the ether, which he says they're going to go into Europe. And by the way, as of yesterday, there are already 100 Kurdish forces dead. We are talking about opening up Pandora's box of ISIS into Europe, into the rest of the world. That's why it should be different. I'm not saying what happened on the border isn't bad, but don't blame shift. This is extremely
I'm not
serious.
blaming shift.
Our
I'm not-
generation's children will be dealing with this.
They're blamed
from
for
now
both.
on. But I'm
they
just
should
saying,
have seen it
I
just
don't-
like we did, okay?
But I'm just.
Okay, these are.
I just don't think. I think everything is bad. I did not support what happened on the border, as you're aware. I don't care about impeachment right now. I think what is happening is so much gravely worse, and the ramifications going
We
forward.
need to care about impeachment because if he can do this, he can do a lot
But Sonny-
worse.
That's right.
He needs to be out of office to protect this country. And if it takes him doing
Okay,
this
but Sonny-
to get the
and
Republicans
fine.
on board
All
with
right.
impeachment,
And fine. You
then
cheap
I'm all
applause.
for it.
The reality is, you were talking about Republicans supporting impeachment. That's
Yeah.
the impeachment inquiry, which is a very different thing than supporting actual impeachment.
They're in support of actual impeachment.
No, that's 9% of the
Actual
Fox News poll that I'm looking at.
No.
That's why
You're saying
polls are so
25% of Republicans want
Yeah,
to
I don't
impeach?
think we're going to get to
I think
this
they
right
want the
now.
impeachment inquiry, which, by
Yeah.
the way, I'm in favor of. I think there are questions to ask, but it's very different than saying you want the president impeached.
Yeah, well, they only need
So it's
67.
important to get
they need
that right.
67
Can we
votes
just start
in the Senate.
some momentum of resign already? Just resign.
He's not going to resign. He's not going to resign
Take us
over
out
it.
of our
He won't
misery.
do
Just
that.
get
Here's
out.
the thing, though, he
He won't-
can't.
We are going to do that right now. We are getting out, and we will be right back with more Hot Topics.